Hey everybody, Graz, GKBC. A little bit of a different format tonight. The daughter is behind the camera, but it's not her phone this time. It is the camera. I am going to do another Ups and Downs. This time for the book you see in front of you, The Troop by Nick Cutter. I got all my information here on my phone, so that's why I'm looking at that. I figured I should do this book. God, itch in my eye, that's great. I figured I should do this book because if there's anybody who watches my channel who hasn't read this, who thinks they should maybe know some of the trigger warnings for it, because it's got a couple of big spikes. And they're serious enough. Normally I don't care about the triggers. I mean, you read a book, it's fiction, you know that you're going to read probably some stuff that you don't really want to read. But these, I feel, are serious enough and big enough that I mean, they actually stuck out hardcore to me. So I'm, they're just, some of them are just below like really serious child abuse or incest or something like that. So there, I got flagged by the YouTube algorithm that listens to all my words. So I'm gonna do The Troop. Let's just get into it. As usual in my ups and downs videos, I should start calling them my downs and ups. Because I start with the downs, and then I do the ups, and then I give you the information from like Goodreads and ratings and such, just so that we don't end on a negative note. So I'm gonna start with the downs. I have 3 downs and 3 triggers. So I just kind of added it all together. So I'll give you the downs, then the triggers. The first one, obviously, the basis of this book is a Boy Scout troop and their scout leader go to an uninhabited island for a nature retreat to like earn Boy Scout badges and stuff. And a contagion arrives, and they all start getting sick. So that's the basis of the book. What I didn't like is we didn't learn until very late in the book that the island is under quarantine. I mean, because they're supposed to be back at a certain time on a certain day, and they're not. And you're left wondering, okay, why isn't anybody coming to find them? Why isn't anybody coming to look for them? I mean, and then midway through, a boat shows up and gets blown up by the army. So we don't learn until deep into the book that they're under quarantine and nobody's allowed to go look for them. I just felt that maybe we should have learned that somehow, because they're like teenagers. You wouldn't just be like, oh yeah, my teenager's on an island. They were supposed to be back 2 days ago, but they're safe. Anyway, I thought that was kind of sloppy. The start of the contagion kind of feels a little too much, and this is interesting that I'm going to do this again, because I accused the book that I did yesterday at 1Q84 of possibly stealing an idea from Stephen King, and I'm going to accuse this one of it too. But I guess that's fair, because if you really try, you can accuse Stephen King of stealing ideas from all over the place.
He hasn't had an original idea in his life.
Ooh, that was the daughter, not me. But the beginning of this, with the contagion and Patient Zero on the run, and starting the sickness. Come on, do I really need to say more? Or should I stand up to say it again? Anyway, my other down is there's a character in here named Kent, and his dad's the police chief, and a bully, and a arrogant piece of crap. And Kent is growing up just like his daddy, and he's a teenager who already thinks that adults should bow down to him. And he's just far too arrogant and far too. I just felt like his arrogance was acted out as being way beyond his age of, is he 16 or 17? I mean, yeah, okay, he could be arrogant and think that the world is his, but unless you're maybe he could have been, unless you're like a sociopath or a psychopath or something like that, you don't disrespect an authority that you've respected your whole life as easily as he does in this book. So I didn't really like that. And now, get ready, because we're going to talk about the 3 triggers that stood out to me the most. And they're rough. I'm going to go from what I feel to be the least offensive and work my way down. So, the Contagion, it's like a tapeworm. And the worms come out of the bodies of the people that it kills and look for new hosts. And so there's a lot of worm grossness and horror in this. I mean, they're like crawling out of eye sockets and noses and buttholes. So if you have a problem with worms and that kind of thing, like maybe tentacle deal, that's a trigger for you. Excuse me. Number 2, and you're going to wonder, well, how is this not the worst? But it's not. There is extreme human body violence. Extreme. I mean, like the one guy gets chopped up, and her kid, yeah, they're kids. These are teenagers that are dying and getting set on fire. So there's like an immolation in here. And then there's a genuine sociopath in here who like plays in the fluids of one of the dead kids, and I don't know. It's very graphic, so be prepared for that. And then what I feel to be the absolute worst thing in here is there is severe, extreme, graphic animal and insect cruelty. Mostly by one character, the one I just talked about, who's playing in the fluids and stuff. I'm only going to mention one because I don't really want to talk about it. There's like, it's almost like 2 or 3 solid pages of this nut job torturing and killing a kitten. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to get any deeper because I don't want to. But those are the 3 most serious triggers that I caught. And we'll move on. Okay. The ups. I thought the setting was amazing. I mean, I love books that are on islands. You know, because you're cut off. You're alone. There might be something neat to find there, but it's an island. It's pretty cool. And I watch a lot of videos on YouTube about islands. It's pretty neat. And number 2, a scout troop is a just cool idea for the cast. You know? I mean, I'm not saying it's fun watching kids kill each other. Although, we all like Lord of the Flies, right? But it was just a neat idea, you know, a Boy Scout troop or whatever they are now, and they're out getting, you know, and one of their probable last excursions because they're getting too old for it. I just thought that was kind of neat. Number 3, the contagion and the symptoms and the effects were unique. It's kind of cool. I mean, oh, I'm really sick. Okay, I got touched or I breathed it in from that guy, from that dude, and now I've got a tapeworm and I'm hungry. I'm hungry on everything. I want to eat everything. They're eating the floor. They're eating doors. They're eating fabric. If they can get their hands on it, they're eating it. So I guess that could be another minor trigger if you don't like it when people eat weird things. But yeah, I mean, and they basically just eat until they're dead. And it's insane, and you know, they lose the weight and it eats their muscles and stuff. I just thought that was a kind of a unique way to make the tapeworm a villain that cannot be defeated. Number 4, I was very invested as these troop mates started dropping. I was invested to see who survived, all the way until it. I was actually invested past that, but that was a huge interest. So let me see the back of the book here. Okay, I'm not going to say anything else about that because I don't want it to be a bad spoiler. But I was in it for that. And then my last oh Lord. I loved the bleaker than bleak ending. I mean, it's so well done. And I'm not going to give it away in case you want to read this. If you can handle the triggers and the awful things, this is the ending. I'm not going to say is worth it because nothing is. Some of those things that I said, but it's a good book. It's a good ending. I really thought so. Now I'm going to give you the information. I guess this isn't going to be as long as I thought. Trying not to talk about the bad stuff too much. This on Goodreads had a 3.85 out of 5. And that was across 83,245 ratings and 4,628 reviews. It was originally published in 2014. My version was released or published in 2016 and has 355 pages. Now I added something here because I thought this was kind of neat. This was nominated for the Goodreads Best Horror Book of 2014. It got 978 votes, which finished 19th out of 20. If you're interested, Anne Rice's most recent, I think, vampire book, Prince Lestat, won that. The cover is by Trevelyan Images, which means it's a stock image. I thought it was too cool to be real. I guess it is somewhere, though. Personally, I gave this a 7.1 out of 10 because the stuff I've talked about really dragged it down. It was, in my opinion, it was overly graphic. Maybe other people might like that. I know that there is a huge market for that. Nim, if you watch this, you might really appreciate this book because you read Chandler Morrison and he's kind of graphic and gory, and this is pretty bad for me. So that's The Troop by Nick Cutter. I have a question for those of you out there who might watch this. If you've read his other books, like on the inside here, it says The Deep and Little Heaven. Let's see, is there more? No. The Deep and Little Heaven. If you've read those or any of his other books and you think that I might enjoy it, let me know. Because I did like the way he wrote. I liked the setting. I liked the cast of characters. The claustrophobia of being trapped somewhere where you can't escape. I really enjoyed that part of it. But that's The Troop by Nick Cutter. Let's see. I guess the next time you see me will be probably Friday, where me and the daughter will sit down and talk about Agnes Grey as part of our Bronte project. But that's all I have for you today. Oh, I've got a video coming up about a Beatle book. The daughter has challenged me to read one of her Beatle books each month. So I'm trying. And I've got one here that's basically pictures. It's called Unseen Archives, and I'm tabbing ones that I think are interesting. And when I'm done, I'll probably do a quick video showing the ones that I tabbed. So look for that. Everybody loves the Beatles, right? What?
You want to get beat on camera?
Well, I already did a video saying they're my number one band. I don't understand.
You want to get beat on camera?
They might appreciate that. Anyway, Extreme Body Horror, look out. Trigger, trigger, trigger. So until then, until Agnes Grey and the Beatles, read more.